right, welcome to the Flagship Podcast. I'm your host, Fred Bays, and I am here with Patrick Rice from the Tin Plate in Elwood, Indiana. Good to have you with us today.
It's good to be here.
Awesome. So Patrick is one of our 7 finalists for our pitch event coming up on February 19th. So Patrick, can you tell us what it was like to apply for that?
I'll tell you, I didn't know a whole lot about it, and one of the employees from Flagship, I believe her name was Lauren, came into the Tin Plate and explained everything. And honestly, by the time she left, I see no reason to not get right on there and apply because it seemed like a really neat program. So
awesome. So tell us a little bit about the Tin Plate, like when you started it and kind of the history of it.
I opened the Tin Plate April the 6th of 2015, and previously I was working for Comcast in sales, and they were phasing out a big part of our sales force, and I had to figure something out. So a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to make you a deal on this place you can't refuse." And I said, "Okay, we'll see about that." Well, the next day I walked out on the building we now know as the Tin Plate.
So had you ever done a restaurant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My very first restaurant was back in 2003, little restaurant, barbecue and ice cream place called the Pig Shack.
Okay.
It was located in Elwood, 21st and Main right there. It was a little walk-up window. We were there for 2 seasons.
Okay.
And I was just a young guy and wasn't too business savvy. And after 2 years, we had to give it up.
Okay.
But then after that, in 2006, my dad and I started Emerito's Pizzeria in Alexandria, and we were there for 3 years and sold.
Okay.
And then turned around and built a nightclub after that, and then turned around and sold the nightclub. So
Okay, so you've been kind of entrepreneurial, doing some startup businesses.
yes.
Okay. What got you into that?
Wanting to work for myself and
Okay.
having the independence of being self-employed.
Yeah, that's a big motivator, isn't it?
Big motivator.
Yeah.
I don't like clocking in.
Yeah. So now you probably know the statistics that 90% of businesses fail after the first year,
Correct.
and 5 years later, 90% of those are gone.
Correct.
So you beat both of those. You're
So far, so
in
good.
year 11, with the business. So tell us just a little bit about how it's been growing it and getting it to where it is today.
Well, to be honest with you, I didn't think it would ever be what it is today.
Okay.
The thing about it was I opened up this place in a neighborhood on South J Street in Elwood, and it was in a residential neighborhood with a little light manufacturing, and I thought, honestly, that it was going to be the, quote, Cheers, that everyone knows your name and you just walk in, and we were going to serve, chicken wings and burgers, and we were going to have a tenderloin, but, we weren't really thinking ahead on the tenderloin, and it evolved from that idea to what it is today. And we opened our doors and our tenderloin took off. And to be honest with you, within a month, we were so covered up that we could hardly keep up.
Wow.
And it's pretty much been that way for the majority of the 11 years, except there was some COVID time and this and that, the problems that have happened, but through and through, we made it through it all. So we're very proud of making it through what we've made it through.
Definitely. So we'll come back to that in a second because every business has some challenges. And
Oh, yeah.
we'll talk about that here in a minute. But so tell us, are you open lunch and dinner?
Yes, we're open at 11 o'clock every day. We close at 9 o'clock p.m. We serve lunch and dinner, full bar, full menu.
Okay. So what's a typical day consist of with how many you're serving? I mean, I'm sure it varies during the week versus weekend, maybe.
Well, on a weekly average, we average 650 to 700 people on average per week.
Okay.
Which, roughly 35-40% of those drive from outside of Elwood city limits to come see us.
Okay.
So
How many can you see in your facility?
we can, in the summertime, it's 130 or so.
Okay.
With the patio. In the wintertime, it's about 90.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk challenges. Every business has challenges to make it as an entrepreneur. And you mentioned COVID, and I'm sure that was a really rough time because
Yes.
people weren't allowed to come to some things. I'm sure you had to pivot and do some things.
We did. We
that.
delivered. We did takeout delivery. We tried to keep our employees as many hours as we could possibly give them, and so they could still pay their bills and do what they had to do.
What's been if you were to name one or two of your biggest challenges that you've made it through, what would you say?
I think the COVID was a huge challenge, yes, but the challenge we had before COVID was probably the worst. The 22nd Street project in Elwood was under full swing, and it was supposed to be a relatively short project, 8 months, and it turned out to be about a year and a half, and that totally cut off the folks that are driving from outside of Elwood to come see us because they weren't familiar on how to get around this one road that was closed through the whole section of town. So it was really rough on us. Our business dropped pretty much overnight from the time they broke ground on that. They started right in our intersection, and there was a 14-foot deep hole there for months and months and months and months, so nobody could get through. And that really played a big toll on us. We finally, after a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifices and a lot of willpower, we made it through that. And right about the time we were starting to get our head above water and things were looking like they used to look, COVID hit. And then everything's changed since COVID. So.
Sure. Yeah. So if you were to name one or two things that you're most proud of that you've been able to accomplish with the business, what would you say?
Being able to see the people that we see on a daily basis, the friendships that have grown out of it, the relationship with our employees. We have a great staff, many who have been with me for several years and a few that have been with me for the entire ride. So seeing their families grow up and see the kids that once were kids and now are adults, bringing their kids into the restaurant, the community end of it is what is the most fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you're applying for the pitch.
Yes.
And so can you tell us what's your pitch that you are wanting to do in order to expand your business?
Well, one thing that I have noticed in the market where there's a gap is there is not available at all anywhere on the market a breading specifically designed for a breaded pork tenderloin, our steak sandwich. And our breading has pretty much got us to where we're at because it was a mistake and there's been a lot of things that happened at the very beginning to get it what it is. But, it's a very good breading. I've come up with a way to package it and market it and sell it. I actually have meetings with food service vendors coming up in the next coming weeks that are going to be talking to me about initial orders for food service. So if you're a bar or if you're a restaurant or a little mom and pop place and you're struggling with your tenderloin, you can actually, order template tenderloin breading into your restaurant and advertise on your menu and on your advertising that you're serving a template tenderloin. And then, with the recognition and the recognition that the tenderloin has, I believe that it will sell well.
So now you shared that story of how that came to be. Could you tell us that?
Sure. So it's Saturday before we open, April the 4th, 2015. And I've got friends and family, about 60 people that I invited to basically come in and bombard my kitchen with orders and basically do a stress test. And in the mix of all that, I was trying to come up with the tenderloin, and my GFS rep gave me some breading that he said is the best breading ever, and I need to use this breading. So I used that breading on my friends and family night. Well, every comment card that came back said that tenderloin was horrible. Please don't serve that. And I was like, wow, back to the drawing board. Well, we had a family commitment on Sunday, and I really didn't get to spend a lot of time on it. So Monday morning rolls around, and I'm opening with this 10-ounce tenderloin on my menu, and I still don't know what I'm going to do to bread this tenderloin. So I threw a few things in a bowl and got called away to the cash register. The cash register was locked up. We didn't have a POS system. We were all, paper tickets in a cash register. And while I was called away to the cash register, my father walked into the kitchen and seen that I had made what appeared to be a breading, and he went ahead and breaded a tenderloin and fried it while I was working on the cash register. And I got done with the cash register and started walking towards the kitchen. He's walking towards me with a tenderloin. And I said, "Oh man, what'd you get into that for? I was going to put this and that and this and that in there." And he says, "Just shut your mouth and try this." So I did. And it was history from that point on. He just looked at me and said, "I hope you know what you put in that bowl."
And that was like hours before you opened.
30 minutes before we opened.
Wow.
So, needless to say, that day we started making our breading, and we've made it every day since.
And so obviously you did remember what you put in there.
Yes. Fortunately, yes.
So, let's talk about your why. Everybody has one. What would you say is what drives you in what you do?
Well, we strive for a lot of things in life, and I guess mine was to be able to work for myself, provide something to the community that they want and need. And, we're not going to get rich in the restaurant business, especially if you know the restaurant business. So we're able to sustain ourselves. And, the most important thing is we have, 24 employees, and they count on the template for a living. And those 24 employees drive me to work my hardest to make sure they still have a job to come to. So, because that's my part of the deal, is to make sure they have a stable job to come into. So, that's very fulfilling on my side to be able to do that. And very grateful of the employees that I do have, because I've got a phenomenal team.
Yeah, it's a really rewarding thing to be able to provide work for people and know that you are significantly impacting their life in that way. Not everybody has the ability and the gift to be able to build something like that.
Right.
And so it's really special.
It's very fulfilling. We've went through hundreds of employees to get the ones that we have.
Sure.
And I let them know every time that we get together and talk that how much they are appreciated, because it did take 12 or 15 people to find you and 25 people to find you, So, the ones that we do have are very good. They're very faithful, and they're very good at what they do, and we're proud to have them.
Yeah. Now, are you from Elwood originally?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, born and
bred.
Born at Mercy Hospital.
Okay.
Right in Elwood, so.
Okay. And I know you have a real heart to give back and contribute in the community a lot too.
Over the years, we've supported a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, we try to support everything. So it's not just a sports-based or a this-based or that based. We like to support the education end of it, the sports end of it, the musical end of it. We are a big sponsor of the high school band and the music department out the school. All different kinds of things that we try to give back to our community.
That's awesome. All right. So if somebody wanted to come to the Tin Plate, where would they find you?
At 2233 South J Street in Elwood, Indiana.
Okay. And online?
tinplateelwood.com.
Can they order something from the site?
Not
if they
yet.
Want? Okay.
Not yet. We're working on the online ordering for the breading. As we speak. So we're trying to come up with a marketplace for that. We've not turned on online ordering for the restaurant part of it just yet, but that's on the horizon.
Okay, awesome. Well, Patrick, we are excited for Pitch Night, for you to present. I'm so glad that you are going to be a part of this, and it's going to be a fun time.
It will be fun. I can't wait.
All right. Well, I hope you come out and join us again on February 19th at 6 o'clock for our pitch event. We have 7 finalists, And there's a appetizers at 5:30, and so we hope you can join us.
Thanks for listening to the Flagship Podcast, sponsored by Pinnacle Systems. Visit our YouTube channel for the full-length video podcast, or find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. New podcasts are posted every month, featuring local leaders from Central Indiana. For more content, follow us on social media at Flagship Enterprise Center. Until next time, thanks for listening.